I don't think I've ever been more excited to have nightmares in my life. Hey guys, thanks so much for clicking on this video. My name is Chris, and Freddy Krueger, the man himself, might be haunting our lives once again very soon. What I'm going to be doing here for you is breaking down this news story today that came out that the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise is trying to get a revival going either in movie form or television form. That and so much more, so be sure you guys are leaving your comments down below what you think of this Nightmare on Elm Street news. What would you like the new film or TV show to be? And you just better hit that like button because it's freaking Nightmare on Elm Street coming back. Now, to give you a little backstory on how any of this is possible is I did a video a while back, you might have seen it, where I talked about a bunch of remakes and sequels to a lot of 80s properties were being canceled. The reason this was happening is because there was a law that was being exploited by a bunch of writers. This law specifically stated that after 35 years, the original creator of that work can claim back ownership from the studio. That is the main reason why we don't have any Friday the 13th movies going on right now, because there is a lawsuit debating that. Some of you might be familiar with that, and good old Jason Voorhees will just have to wait for that long legal battle to be over before we can see him again. Other characters included the Die Hard series, the Terminator series, a lot of Stephen King properties, but one of them was the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise, and it was taken away from Warner Brothers Studio, and the ownership for Freddy Krueger was given back to the Wes Craven estates, the family, because as we know, Wes Craven himself, the man, the myth, the legend, he has passed away. He is no longer with us, unfortunately. So it was kind of up in the air if these family members of the horror genius would go ahead and sell the property to make more movies, or they would just keep the property to themselves, respect what has happened, and not touch it again. Well, today Bloody Disgusting broke the news that the Wes Craven family is going ahead and listening to different pitches so that they can get a new Nightmare on Elm Street movie or television series going. And immediately there will be people out there who say, don't do this. Why would you do it? We already had a horrendous remake that happened. I don't blame Jackie Earle Haley for that Freddy Krueger performance. I think he did a fine job. I just think that movie was just rehashing what the original was without bringing anything new to the table. And a lot of us would argue that the best Freddy Krueger movies were the one that Wes Craven directed, the first one, the third one, and Nightmare on Elm Street New Nightmare. Like, my personal favorite is Nightmare on Elm Street 3. I got my t-shirt, I got my little pop. But when you're the family and you want to continue on the legacy of your relative, you continue on selling the movies, and well, money talks as well. They're gonna get a direct check from someone making these movies. Breaking down on the film aspect first, we'll get to the television portion in a second. They are willing to listen to any pitches right now. So honestly, anything could actually happen. By that I mean, we could possibly get a Nightmare on Elm Street movie where Robert Englund himself comes back one more time. He has been no stranger to talking about this, that he'd be willing to do one more Nightmare on Elm Street movie if he is given the chance. There's even other cast members like our Nancy who's also willing to come back. Who knows how that happens? So if someone walks up to the Wes Craven family and pitches them an idea with Robert Englund, Nancy, and still sets it in the direct universe that we're used to from the 80s, we could get a classic Freddy Krueger movie again like never before. And this seems more of a possibility because lately we've been getting on the trend where instead of rebooting or making a remake of a horror property, we make direct sequels to what has already previously been done. I mean, the Halloween franchise went ahead and did that with Halloween 2018, keeping it within the continuity, just ignoring some of the past sequels. The new Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie is going to go ahead and do that, make a direct sequel to the first one. But not only in the horror section, we have movies today like the Terminator franchise where they make direct sequels to the most popular movies. So this could be a direct sequel to the first movie. It could be a direct sequel to the third movie. I would say it was after the third film where it started to tear off in quality. I found them hella enjoyable, but admittedly they just never reached that height again until New Nightmare. On the opposite side of that, when talking about television, they specifically mentioned HBO Max. And the reason they mention HBO Max is because that is a division of Warner Brothers, and although the Wes Craven family owns the rights to Freddy Krueger in America, Warner Brothers owns the rights to the movies internationally. Specifically meaning, if they make a movie, the Wes Craven family can only make money from it domestically from the US. If they want the movie to play in China and other foreign countries, they're gonna have to partner with Warner Brothers and give them a share of the pie. So it would just make sense to pair with Warner Brothers from the beginning, and since Warner Brothers has a streaming service and they're looking for any content to compete with Disney Plus or Netflix, a Nightmare on Elm Street TV series would really get me thinking about signing up for a full year. I know we've had a Nightmare on Elm Street television series in the past, but that never really was the same flavor as the movies. movies. It was just sort of these random tales with Robert Englund popping up for about 5 to 10 seconds. I would be very interested to see a Nightmare on Elm Street movie. It could be an anthology where every episode just follows a different child from the Elm Street street being haunted by Freddy Krueger, or a group of kids and that follows them that season. But you have to also be thinking long term, because like I said, Robert Englund only has one more movie left in him. So you have to set up for this franchise to continue, because nowadays it's all about a franchise. It's all about creating the sequels and monetizing this thing as endlessly as you can. You don't start back up the Freddy Krueger franchise to just do one movie. So for that purpose alone, we might not get Robert Englund donning the hat and glove one more time. We could get another incarnation, or if we want to get a little wild, we could have Freddy Krueger himself passing the torch to another person who was wronged in the city of Springwood, and then those floating storm thingies inhabit that person, and then that person is the new Freddy Krueger, or Dream Master as you would say. Either way, it's really cool to know this is happening. A lot of Wes Craven properties are coming back to life. We had Scream that's coming back. Still excited to see what happens there. No official word yet if it's Scream 5 or if it's a complete reboot. Now we have Nightmare on Elm Street coming back. Another movie of his I would like to see from Wes Craven, The Hills Have Eyes. I like that series. I would love to see it again. But anyways, guys, you hear about Nightmare on Elm Street getting back into the spotlight. How do you feel about this? What route would you like them to go? What's your opinion on it being televised for a streaming service? Anything and everything, you guys go ahead and leave me your thoughts down below. But be sure to like and subscribe, guys. Follow me on Twitter at 3C Film Review. As always, I'm Chris. Take care.